some of the other models.
Yeah.
So, the henchman that comes in his box is Kudra. She is relatively cheap, a 7 soul stone henchman. So cash of 6 goes along with that. She is henchman, living, rare 1 academic.
Alright.
She has defense 6, willpower 5, both with a tome built in. 8 wounds. Walk of 6, charge of 7. So she's pretty quick with that walk 6. And she has butterfly jump.
Oh god!
Right.
So
There's a couple models with this. When she's targeted with a non-close attack enemy attack action, may discard a card to push 3 in any direction. Range, line of sight, and cover are drawn from the new position. So if you try to get her with anything that's not a close attack, she can jump out of the way potentially. It's a 3-inch push, which also means she could jump towards you.
Yeah, and also like it's
just like
the really cool thing about it is it's like, oh, I'm going to shoot you with my sniper. If a person's not paying attention, I shoot you with my sniper. All right, a butterfly jump, cover, and the action's considered failed.
Yes, exactly. If they can't see you, if they can't draw line of sight or legal range. Same with if they're just barely in range. Like the Dawn Serpent is, I get right within 8 inches.
Aha!
I jump back so that we're 12 inches away. Well, it's fuck my life. 11 inch, but still. And so her built-in tome is for her defense willpower trigger, Lessons Learned in Blood. Once per turn, after failing against an enemy, draw a card. So once per turn, when she fails getting attacked, she gets to just draw a card from her defense, as long as she gets to declare the trigger. So, somebody like Joss that ignores them, but normally she draws a card. Then she is Worthy Student. Once per turn, after this model spends a soul stone, it may discard a card and add 1 soul stone to the crew's pool after resolving the current action. So she can get soul stones back. She has to discard a card. She trades a card for a soul stone.
Does Zandeep use a lot of soul stones? I'm trying to think.
A lot of his actions have triggers that he does not have built-in suits.
And she could be a good way to help replenish some of those.
Right. Not to mention, let's say she's an academic, so she borrows the placement effect. Well, she spends a soul tome to ensure she gets the tome to give Sandeep his extra action, and now she discards a card to get the soul stone back.
Oh, so kind of like a little bit like...
So she has a lot of ways to... Like if she's borrowing Sandeep's abilities, she can stone for all the triggers she needs. Of course, she can do that once per turn, so 1 soul stone spent is back.
Let's hope if you're spending soul stones like at more than 1 or 2 a turn.
Exactly. It's not perfect, but it helps.
Yeah.
Then she has Serpent Speed. Now you're going to look, her attack looks pretty... it's not that great, but... This model may take 4 1 Cobra Strike attack actions as a result of a charge instead of the usual attacks generated by a charge.
God,
so instead of her 2 attacks for charging, she's got 4 of them. However, that's because...
Or up to 5 if she
were fast or something.
Yeah.
Right. However, her Cobra Strike action, it's melee 6, not bad, versus defense range 1. And target suffers 1, 2, 3 damage and gains poison 1. No triggers. So, min damage 1, max damage 3. That's a really iffy attack.
Yeah.
Honestly, unless you're finishing something off, I wouldn't even...
Scheme runners.
Well, exactly. But even there's a lot of scheme runners. Imagine charging a Tengu. That's still 5 wounds to chop through with min 1 damage. I have to get moderate damage at least once.
And then the poison
and
too
hit
might
with all
finish
of
it
them.
off too.
That's right. There is poison.
Yeah.
If you hit 4 times, you're going to give them poison 4.
But that's if you hit 4 times.
Right. And it is melee 6, but 1 will probably miss. But that's... Yeah. So that's where a performer is certainly a good combo with her. Like, if you're going to take Kudra anyway, you might do... And your 5-point minion might be a performer because they're just solid all around. And if you ever do get that poison combo off, I'd say bonus, not what your goal is.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I think the Cobra Strike is just there as something that's cool. The rest of her stuff is where she, I think, shines a little more.
Yeah.
She has 1 action Elemental Bolt, casting 5 versus defense, range 10 projectile.
It does have a shoot, so okay.
Yeah, target suffers 2, 3, 4 damage. She has Flare to give burning 1 on a mask. Then, on a mask, she has Mighty Vault. After damaging, place this model within 4 of its current location, not in terrain. So she can basically jump away, and it is a placement. And then she has Burst Damage on a tome where she gets to add a burst to moderate and severe.
Okay.
So that's one. Yeah.
Is it better than Sandeep's?
So if she borrows Sandeep's, they're both casting 5. Sandeep's won't randomize.
Mm-hmm.
Sandeep's, I think, is better severe damage. Better moderate and severe, but it doesn't have a lot of these triggers.
So it's a decision between taking Sandeep's or...
Right. Honestly, it's probably better for somebody else to take that one.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who doesn't have a range attack of their own if they need it.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on the situation.
So let's see.
And then her 0 action, her tactical, Minor Illusion. I think this is pretty cool. Casting 5, target number 12, so you need a 7. Range 10. Place one 50mm illusionary forest marker within range. Mm-hmm. Treated as height 4 terrain with dense, severe, soft cover. Remove this marker the next time this crew takes this action.
Very, very Lilith-esque.
It is exactly like Lilith's, except that Lilith gets 2 of them.
Yeah.
That are next to each other. Kudra summons 1.
I'm trying to think of... So you would summon one of them.
And until Kudra takes this, it's sitting there at the same spot.
I think that's that's where a lot of her value is being able to put that illusionary forest out.
It certainly helps. I think it's one of those weird moments. She's almost a bit of a scheme runner herself with walk 6, butterfly jump. The fact that if you do engage her, she's beefy enough to take on most things. Mm-hmm. You know, like we were talking about. She will probably be able to take out a Tengu, but a Tengu really won't stand much chance of taking out her.
Mm-hmm. If you're throwing Tengus, you're going to have a bad time.
The Tengu are better off running away.
Yeah.
So she's very interesting.
Now, but she's also 7 soulstones.
Right.
Which is really, really cheap for...
Which means she could be a good option for Show of Force.
Yeah.
Her and the Fire Starter are cheap for the amount of upgrades they can take. Now, she has her own personal upgrade. It's a 1 soulstone upgrade. Mm-hmm. She gains a set of weird abilities. So the Ice and the Storm. Well, at least one friendly Ice Gamer is within 6. This model gains armor +1. So suddenly, if she is near an Ice Gamer, she has armor. Flames in the Night. When at least one friendly Fire Gamer is within 6, this model adds mass to all of its dual totals. So that means that Flare and Mighty Vault are now built into Elemental Bolt.
If she's within a Fire Gamer, okay.
Or if she copies Sandeep's Sow Your Deed, Sow Your Destiny, she automatically gets the Traveler's Mantra. So she gains Positive Mask if there's a flame. Honestly, I think that's the least useful, but it is there. And then the Wind in the Trees. While at least one friendly Wind Gamer is within 6, this model gains +1 melee.
So you are more
she
likely
could
to
be
take
melee
out,
7.
Yeah, you're more likely to get all 4 of those strikes to hit. And get 4 poison on a Scheme Runner.
Yeah, you're certainly better off. And then this model gains the following tactical action. 0. Your purpose is served. Casting 5, target number tomes with a crow, so you need a minimum 5 of crows. Range 10, kill target friendly Gaiman.
So if you need to get rid of a Gaiman.
Probably a Gaiman who has an upgrade from Sandeep. You're just like, that Gaiman's killed.
Well, that's like we were discussing earlier. Like, you put a Gaiman up there, and you just want them to drop a Scheme Marker, then you can activate her, kill the model, and then do an action with the tome.
Yeah.
Then you can summon another Gaiman to drop another Scheme Marker.
Yeah, if the Gaiman is within 10 inches of her.
Within 10 inches, yeah.
Which is fine. And so, honestly, this seems like an upgrade that makes her even better in Sandeep. He can summon all of these Gaiman that give her boosts.
I'd say if you were bringing her into a non-Sandeep, you probably wouldn't take it.
I mean, there might be occasions, like maybe I'm planning, for some reason, I'm planning on taking her in a crew that's going to have one of these Gaiman anyway. Mm-hmm. Then maybe. But, right, for the most part, it's definitely for her thematic Sandeep synergy.
So, Kudra... No, is it Kudra? Yeah.
Yeah, Kudra.
Kudra, overall, for 7 soulstones, you're getting a lot out of her. With the illusionary force is nice. The ability to get 4 strikes, this is how I see her. I see her, maybe you're going to run along with flanks. She's going to go chase after enemy scheme markers, or enemy scheme runners. She's going to hit them 4 times, and then put poison on them. And if they get away, all right, now they have to try to survive 4 ticks of poison.
Yeah. And so for me...
And she's quick, too. Pretty...
yeah, the walk 6, charge 7 is... Now, for me, I'm probably not going to see her much outside of Sandeep.
Yeah.
And she suffers from that thing that a lot of models in Malifaux, that she is good, but there's just other options.
Yeah.
For 1 point,
starter.
Well, for 1 point more, I can buy Cassandra.
Which is...
And
Okay, see, it's kind of hard to compare.
but that's the thing, is that I'm only paying a single point more, and I've got Cassandra with Nimble, a really strong melee attack.
I could take good practice productions.
Her Southern Hospitality, as people have said, is fucking brilliant. It's just a brilliant defensive ability.
Oh, yeah.
Now, and that's where Kudra definitely, I think, would outdo her in a Sandeep list, but most other lists, if I'm considering Kudra, for 1 point more, I need to consider Cassandra. And that's where, unfortunately, yeah.
And that's where I saw, like, maybe you brought maybe you brought Cassandra along. And like,
maybe you already have her and you need a second fast
Because I'm not sure who...
henchman.
Is Cassandra as good at melee as Kudra?
Okay, so her Clockwork Saber, or her whatever it's actually called, so it has built-in where she can push 3 inches, maybe 4.
Swirl of motion, I think it's
called. Swirl of motion. She's built-in swirl of motion. She has the same melee 6 with a overall better damage spread, especially since she doesn't need
damage, right?
At least. Yeah, 2 with like, I think it's 2, 4, 5 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe 2, 3, 5. She can, if she hits with it, she can trigger her ability to copy somebody else's casting action. And it's the fact that she doesn't need to attack 4 times to get 4 damage.
Yeah.
So she doesn't... Kudra has to charge to do that.
And then...
Like, a lot of times... And she has no way to get out of a combat once she's in it.
I see. I like Kudra. I love the model. The rules are really nifty. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Cassandra is just...
And it's
for 1 stone more is such a solid choice. But with Sandeep crew, I think Kudra does bring a lot to his crew.
Because she benefits from his actions so much.
I don't... From like what you told me, of just because from the Arcanist point of view, like 1 more soulstone and I can get a henchman that I can do a lot more work and is a lot more versatile.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that it's 8 to 7 points. It's not like Cassandra costs 9 or 10.
Yeah. It's not like you're paying 12 points for her versus Kudra, which is 7.
So, anyways,
I think
still very interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
I think we're basically done.
So now we'll do Anna Nedu?
Amina Naidu.
Oh, Nina? Oh, sorry. The writing is like... I thought it was just 2... Amina Naidu? Naidu? Say that 5 times.
Naidu, so Naidu.
Alright, so what she has, she's... we'll call her Amina. Amina. She's a henchman. She's living rare 1. She's MSU and academic.
Yep.
Her stat line's really nice, actually.
And she costs 9 points.
9
so
points.
She's a little more
9.
high end.
She's a defensive 6, willpower 7, 8 wounds, walk of 5, dash charge, and height 2. I can't read these.
So, endless bureaucracy. After this model suffers damage from an enemy attack action, it may discard a card to push the attacking model 2 inches in any direction. So after she suffers damage, she pushes you for hurting her.
Oh wow! So it's pretty much she has the free Ramos.
Sort of.
Defensive trigger where it's like, you hit me? Okay, get out of my way.
Of course, he's directly away from you. She's in any direction. She could even pull you closer so that you're in range of something else or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Actually, our claims extend when an enemy model takes the interact action within 6 inches. This model may discard a card to add 1 soulstone to its crew's pool. So if you interact within 6 inches of her, free soulstone. So you run up and you mark Howard Langston for death because you want to kill him anyway. Well, if Ananidu was within range, I get a soulstone.
Oh God.
that kind of thing. So if you're trying to like, she's kind of a good counter to all of those.
Or if your opponent's very obvious about their strategies and schemes. Like,
yeah. So if the pool has a lot of those where you're interacting with enemy models, she's pretty good because it's like, oh, you interacted with my model, I get
Get me a stuff. Yeah.
And her other ability is according to the Injured Workers Act. This is why people are calling her the litigation lawyer. Like,
I love it.
She's there. When another friendly living model within 6 inches that has half or fewer wounds remaining is targeted by an attack, that this model may suffer 1 damage to make the attacker suffer negative flip. So, let's say Howard Langston or Joss is sitting there at half or less wounds. Ananidu can take, Amina can take 1 damage to give whoever's attacking them a negative flip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
Is that once per turn, or what is that?
No, when another friendly living model within 6-inch aura that has half or fewer of its wounds remaining is targeted by an attack. So she can do it for every attack as long as the target is living and below half or less its wounds. Has half or fewer, yeah. So she's very good at keeping things that have been hurt from getting hurt more. Like, they have to be at or below half, but she's good. So then we get to her actions on the back of her card. She has Sharp Wit is her sort of primary attack here, looks like. Casting 6 Willpower versus Willpower, range 2. Target gains slow. So she can just use her Sharp Wit to give you slow. On Atomes, there's the trigger, you made that word up!
You made that word up? What?
You, sir, are a cretin. You made that word up!
What?
So she calls them something.
Oh,
she uses her Sharp Wit to insult them, and they're like, what?
Oh, and that's their action. Okay.
And then they gain, so after succeeding, the target gains Incoherent Rage. This model may not declare attack actions that target a model other than Amina.
Oh, what's the range on that? That's
2-inch. So that's her melee attack. Okay. She's got a 2-inch melee.
And then she can push him
2-inch
out.
close.
Oh my god.
And the funny thing is, so she's got a close attack that doesn't deal damage anyway. It just slows you. As people are like, wait, what'd she just call me?
Son of a bitch! Wait, but she doesn't engage. But the thing about it is, can't models...
Well, she has an engagement range.
So she does engage.
So she can make disengaging strikes with her Sharp Wit.
Oh, God.
Versus their Willpower.
No, you will stay right here!
What are you doing? You're trying to leave? You're an imbecile and a cretin!
So you yell at them to stay into combat.
Basically, you confuse
what,
them.
Did you call me?
You confuse them into not walking away. They're like, wait, what?
Oh,
I see you're running away from a girl. I see how it is.
Yeah, just like the pause, like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Or she has a real attack. She does have a Call Your Navy.
Call Your Navy?
Yeah. So shoot 6 versus defense, range 12, 2, 3, 4 damage. Very straightforward. She can technically shoot someone. Then her other ranged ability is Summons.
Okay.
Casting 6 versus Willpower, range 12. Push target enemy model its charge towards this model. So she has kind of like, she has that kind of lore where it's
pseudo-lore.
Push towards this model its charge. She has on Atomes, Liability. After succeeding against a non-master, the target gains the following condition, Liable. This model may not target models that have fewer wounds than their wound stat with actions. Okay, so anybody that's already wounded, they can't attack them if they have this liability condition.
So if somebody's already wounded, you cannot, and if they have liability on them, they can't attack.
No.
If
the person with liability,
yes.
the person with liability can't attack models that are wounded.
That are wounded. Okay.
So let's say, for an example, that you charge something up and you hit Howard Langston, but he's not dead. And it's towards the end of the turn, and I activate Amina. Amina says Summons to pull you towards me, and then she gets her trigger to give you liability. Now you can't attack Howard.
So I'm protecting Langston for another turn. Okay.
From that particular model that you...
Let's say it's one of the last models you need to activate,
Right, or it's the only thing that threatens him. Or whatever it happens to be. And, of course, if he's pushed where he hits Langston's base on the way, he'll stop as soon as he hits the base and won't push any further towards Amina.
And then you can't attack Amina. Or if you want to attack
Making it
Amina,
harder to get to her.
Yeah.
Right. So she can still kind of barely see you around the corner of a model and do... So, but the main thing is it's a push, and there's a trigger to give out that weird condition. Now she has her 2-0 actions, which one chains into the other. Mountain of Paperwork. Casting 6 versus Willpower, range 6, so it's a lot closer. Target suffers 4 damage and may discard up to 2 cards to reduce the damage by 2 for each card discarded. So she can do up to 4 damage by burying you in paperwork, or you can just pay it off by discarding cards.
Okay.
Now on a mask, she has, you forgot section 8, or D18. After succeeding, take the Missing Forms action. So this is her other 0 action that can chain, that can be chained into, or she can take it directly. Casting 6 versus Willpower, range 6. Target gains the following condition till end of the game, or this model is killed or sacrificed. Missing Forms. This model counts as a peon for strategy and scheme purposes and may not take interact actions.
Wow. Until the end of the game?
Or until she is removed.
Oh my god.
Is killed or sacrificed. So you can't even box her to get rid of it. You have to kill or sacrifice her. So that's Missing Forms. She can take that directly, or if you think you have a high mask to get it off Mountain of Paperwork, first you can wound them and then take this. And then Missing Forms has its own trigger. Why fuss about? After succeeding, this model takes the Collier Navy action if able. So it's like, oh, you've got these Missing Forms,
BAM!
And why fuss about? Just shoots them.
All right, I really like her.
She's weird.
She has a lot of. She can be situational, but she has all these really nice abilities.
Right.
She has 9 soul stones. She's 1 more than Cassandra.
She's 1 more than Cassandra, 1 less than Joss.
I think though, she would be really good for, because Joss is, you want to push him forward, but if you want a model to stick or put 2 upgrades on her, I think she'd be a good show force.
Yeah, and so also note she is both MNSU and academic, so she benefits potentially from academic stuff, but honestly, most of that isn't.
Academic is.
And even her, she has a lot of her abilities up here require her to discard cards for that card thing, but. Honestly, the academic part is almost more like just.
It's kind of like tack. Well, it's not really tacked on. But
You know where I see her being very interesting is Ironsides. She will benefit from Ironsides. Handpicked men, and also other people who are benefiting from handpicked men. A lot of her injury stuff, where if you're already injured, it helps.
So there's not as much synergies with her with the academics, but in terms of MNSU, she brings a lot to the MNSU.
Yeah. Just the fact that she. Even in Sandeep, she can be the one carrying that MNSU upgrade, Bleeding Edge Tech.
Yeah.
So she can carry that to help.
She has 9 soul stones.
I think Ironsides also. So because she's an academic, when you take Oxfordian mages who are good with Ironsides, she gives them extra tomes if she's within range.
Yeah.
And if they're already wounded, she makes them more durable.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think she's going to be my first pickup for things that come out later aside from Sandeep's box.
Yeah.
Because I think adding her to my Ironsides list, because I really like that list. I think she'll be a huge boon.
Well, she's a good support model.
Like, for example, if there's a moment where I don't want to take the captain, she's a good alternative.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, you would take, let's do a comparison between her and Cassandra.
Okay.
Like, you would take her for, Cassandra, you don't really want her, you want her to go around doing something. She doesn't really necessarily sit.
She's either going to smack somebody upside the head, or she's going to try to get in their deployment zone for undercover entourage.
And for her, you want her to sit at a point, or if you're playing with a lot of minions, or you want her to push her, have her auras.
I see. She's not as mobile to begin with, which means all she needs to do is get up to the point she needs to be at.
And then all of her attack actions are really nice. Like, they're very, very Chiaki the Niece with her upgrade. Which is, like, she can throw out slow, she can play interference, just harassing opposing models. Like, she's probably not going to kill anything on her own,
Yeah.
Like,
but imagine like the fact that she can, if she gets within 6 inches of something, she can use her zero action. If she gets missing forms off on them, that one model that you were hoping to hold a table quarter or to hold a stash marker, she can just you're a
well,
minion.
no. What I like what you can do is like with Ironsides, because Ironsides wants models to be engaged with her. But like, think about it is like,
She has her own lure. Yeah,
so she can pull up like, I want like. Because Ironsides wants to fight against a bunch of minions, so I'm gonna start pulling your hounds.
And Ironsides is gonna get hurt, which means she's going to be able to do all the stuff on that Amina does when you're.
So
wounded.
I think Amina will make Ironsides a lot better.
Yep, I can definitely see that. How she was made to be flexible, but a lot of her stuff is definitely synergy with Ironsides.
So you might not see her as much in a.
Sandeep.
Sandeep, you might see him as much as Sandeep, but you'll see her probably a lot with like M&SU oriented, or even just into other crews. Just that for 9 soulstones, what you get for her support.
Like I don't think she's ever gonna see Rasputina just because she's so focused.
Yeah,
but
Rasputina,
pretty much anybody else, there's a potential use for her. Yeah.
Yeah.